Okay, cool. Yeah. So we did so have you gotten do you have the album Antenna?
Oh, I don't. So I only have right now the CD for Petland, and I did a deep dive of both albums afterwards, and then I was just really curious on just all the stuff of it. I would love an album for Antenna too.
I've got a box of those too. You can have them.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, no problem. And that one's got more on the liner. And Watching Things Get Stopped, we only made like 100 copies of it because we were basically actually we played for a year on Watching Things Get Stopped, but we
Really?
didn't we didn't yeah we didn't really push it hard. We're all working hard. Yeah, yeah.
So I saw that so when I was doing my research, I saw that on an old website somewhere that G.I. Joe and Rubber were on the website as well. And so
Okay.
it was kind of cool seeing like unreleased music by the band, but now it's
There's a YouTube video of me doing Rubber in the Deer Park.
yep, that's what I
Uh,
found. Yeah.
we sound Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I have a box of VHS cassettes of there's used to be a guy in Delaware that would videotape all the band playing in the bars, and he would just give them to you. His name was Jerry Lehane, and I've got a box full of videos of Petland playing at different bars in Delaware.
Wow.
And I've got an interface that can go VHS to computer, so I think over Christmas I might suck them down. Um, and look at them because we also played on channel 28, which was cable access. We were like 3 times on channel 28, where we play live or we just do an interview, and they're really hilarious. We did a Christmas special where Michael Boland and I did Bing Crosby and David Bowie, Little Drummer Boy. We sang it, but we
Yeah.
lip synced it and overdubbed it. So I have it on tape. I need to make a video of it. I need to get it because it's pretty funny. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I would love to see that. Just like I love hearing about like history and stuff like of like
Yeah.
bands. Just like kind of like the more just hearing everything about them.
Cool.
But yeah. So I guess I can start with my questions now because a lot of the stuff we talked about, the kind of stuff I already have origin or questions of. But my first question is kind of the origin of the band. How you got everything together? Where'd you meet everyone? And just kind of like how it all got started.
Okay, great. Yeah. So I moved to Delaware in the '90s, and I was an engineer. So I had a day job as an engineer, and I obsessed with recording music. So I built a studio in my house. First, I had it in Pike Creek, Delaware. Then I moved out here. I live in Maryland, so I built a studio, and I was recording all the local bands. And then I was in a band called Raised on Sugar. So we put out one album as Raised on Sugar. There's actually a couple of good songs on it. Some of them are really horrible. And I was in bands in college too at University of Maryland. So I was always obsessed with writing songs and recording songs. And so Raised on Sugar was with a bunch of musicians in Delaware, and then that kind of ended, and I was recording Michael Boland's band after Schroeder. So Schroeder was the big indie band in the early '90s in Delaware, and they made a band called Big Girl after Schroeder. So it was the singer from Schroeder and Michael, the bass player, and so I was recording them in the studio, and I became friends with Michael, and I wrote "Can I Keep You."
Mm.
The song "Can I Keep You," and I gave it to Michael. I did a demo of it, and I gave it to Michael. Said, "Hey, you want to play bass on this?" Michael is an insane bass player. He's Michael is he's like a trained cello player. He graduated Delaware, degree in art, and he's a really good bass player. He's really quiet and super introverted. But he sings backup. He sings great harmonies in a really soft, like, backup voice. And so anyway, I gave him the copy of the Can I Keep You demo. He said, yeah, sure, I'd love to play it. So then, and I had Brian Erskine, who's also from Schroeder, play drums on that first Antenna album. And so Brian came in and got all excited. So we wrote Antenna. It took probably like a year and a half to do it. And it was like a mixture of songs that I wrote by myself and then songs that I kind of wrote together with Michael. Yeah. Okay. So Can I Keep You is the first one we did, and it's me on guitar and singing, and Brian Erskine on drums, and Michael Boland playing bass, and there's a girl singing on it, doing la la la's, and she was a buddy of mine's girlfriend that came in. So she's only on that. She's on that song on Ailing Mating Ritual at the end of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that album was super fun because in the 90s, I was trying, like, I'm an 80s guy. I really like a lot of 80s music, a lot of techno. I was into heavy metal for a little bit and then I got into like techno and 80s pop. And so when the 90s came and it was all grunge, and I played in a cover band in the early 90s when it was all grunge and it was all just screaming and metal, right? It was like, it was Nirvana, and I like Nirvana, and I appreciate Pearl Jam and all that. And then so when I was raised on sugar, everyone wanted to be grunge. And so I tried to do grunge and it wasn't great. And I like grunge. I enjoyed the 90s, but so when we did Antenna, it was like there was a lot of 80s influence, a little techno influence, and it's not really any grunge, right? It's kind of poppy. So it was all of a sudden like, hey, we don't have to, and it was the end of the 90s, right? So it was 98. So we don't have to be grunge. We don't have to sing in a man voice. We don't have to be, a Pearl Jam voice, So it was like all of a sudden, oh, wow. And the second song on that album is Salad Days, which I wrote also, but the guitar on that is actually Nick DeMaria, who's from Schroeder, and he was the guitarist from Schroeder, and he was living in New York, and he drove down here, and he did a couple sessions. He did the guitar on that song, and he did the guitar on Pig. And then there's actually another song that did get put on that album that we released first. We released a little EP. We released an EP, and he played on Crawl too. So Nick DeMaria he plays like a 12-string Rickenbacker with a ton of effects. He was anti-grunge. So his sound was this like wall of delayed, distorted guitar that was really melodic. So he played on Salad Days. So all that really interesting atmospheric sound is him on guitar. And then Pig, that really horrible distortion is him playing that. And then of course we did that Crawl, which was a joke. It was like a joke on Walk This Way by Aerosmith. It was Crawl This Way. And so that was very techno electronic, and that was influenced by Nick. And we did another song called My Taste Is Back. And I need to find that, because it's actually, it's a loop. It's the first thing I did with Nick DeMaria. He did a loop, and then we sang on it. It's really atmospheric.
So I guess we can go back to the question. So if you're going off what you're saying, that unique sound, I know that one thing I really liked about Petland, especially compared to a lot of other bands, not just like from back then, but for now, was that you guys have a very unique sound, like a very sci-fi, like you said, poppy sound. So I guess this kind of goes into two questions, a double question. One is, what are your inspirations that you had that kind of generated that sound? And I guess go into where'd you how'd that sound all come together, and how'd you form? Because Miss Roboto follows that kind of sound throughout the whole album. I felt was really unique, and it feels like a staple almost.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Robato's a concept album, so it becomes easy. You say this is the concept. It's about creating a robot and being obsessed and then being destroyed, and so it made it easy. Once we said that's the theme, it made it really easy to when you produce the songs, when you produce the songs, you're at which instruments you're playing. Well, how do you make them sound? You automatically do it that way, right? So you automatically start making those decisions on what effects to put on the vocals, what guitar to use, how to do it. So it made it easy to produce that album because you know what you're doing, and each song kind of like is related to each other's a little bit. Um, yeah, it was really really fun. It was super fun. Like even the last song is a cover, and that's Under My Skin.
Mm-hmm.
So Under My Skin is, I think it's a Cole Porter song. And I sang it with Andrea. Andrea at the time, then her name was Andrea Wang. And so Under My Skin is the title, and it's about, it's a love song, but it's about being obsessed.
Yeah.
And then the cool thing is in Mr. Roboto by Styx, there's the big song in the big there's the line in Mr. Roboto, Don't Me Gato, Mr. Roboto is I got a secret I've been hiding under my skin. So it's a reference to Styx, Mr. Roboto in the last song Under My Skin, right? Yeah. I don't. Did you get that, or is that obvious, or did?
I didn't get the Under My Skin, which I think makes sense a lot now because I mean everyone's heard the Mr. Roboto songs, like
Yeah.
But I definitely it is cool. I knew that song. I figured that the album must have had a lot of inspiration from like an '80s kind of like synth feel to it. But
Mr. Roboto was a goofy album by Styx, right? And it was a failure. It was a failure by Styx, and Styx was Michael and I both love Styx, but Styx is a goofy band from the late '70s that kind of fell apart when the '80s came, right? And, but they had some really cool stuff, and they're really pretentious and overdone. So that was kind of like what we did. We overdid it on Mr. Roboto. We put too many what's it called when you've got use someone else's voice, you stick it in there. We did too many samples. We used too many samples. We used too many effects. But we were like, screw it. Let's just we did it. And actually Antenna too. Antenna, we said, let's just do what we want to do and don't care about what it just do it to please ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So Antenna was literally done just to just please ourselves and have as most fun. Like that song that has a big long techno intro before it goes into Define.
I can't remember which song that is.
But that thing is, no one's gonna ever play that on the radio or anything, right? Like it's like
Well, I think
it was just done to have fun. Yeah.
Mr. Roboto is such a fun listen to. I feel like I've listened to it many times from front to end. I meant, and it really I feel like the whole album feels incomplete almost sometimes when it probably because it's a concept album, but each song flows into it. Like I feel like it's telling a part of the story that you're trying to tell through each song as it like descends more into like the character losing his mind almost.
That's awesome, dude. That's exactly what we did. And so the fact that you listen to it and you actually you come back with that is awesome. Yeah, like years later, right? Just picking it up at a record store. That's freaking awesome. You made my month, man. Yeah.
Well, that's what everyone keeps telling me. They're like, "Oh man!" Like I've told so many people about the band now at this point that they're like, "Oh, you're just." That's why everyone was so excited when like you guys dropped that third album. 'Cause I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I thought it was just going to be just this one done thing of these two albums.
Yeah, I heard a signal. Somehow somehow I heard I got to do it. So because I've been saying I got to do something because we never did it. We never released it. Right. We just we burned some copies. We played gigs and then we never did anything. And I remixed on that what I released for Watching Get Things Get Stopped. I remixed Sudden Behavior, and I remixed Go Back for that. So those aren't the original mixes. I remixed them last year. I remixed them this year, basically in January, and like this spring, I remixed those because I made videos on YouTube. I don't know. Have you seen those YouTube videos?
Yeah, I found that around the same time the third one came out. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I put a video a year ago of Go Back, and that's me riding my bike in the woods on that video. Just me, and then I did the video to G.I. Joe years ago. That one is just me pulling together clips. Right on. Have you seen the G.I. Joe video?
Yeah, I found that around the time I actually introduced myself on Messenger.
Okay, yeah.
That was like a whole other like side of the internet. I didn't even like think about looking was like Facebook and all that.
Okay, yeah.
In fact, I made a Facebook just stuff I have no friends on there. I was like, oh, well, I gotta make a Facebook now so I can see if I can contact you guys.
Yeah, nobody does Facebook anymore, right? Yeah. So I put G.I. Joe out a while ago on the video just for fun, and I did that. And Paul Budd was the drummer on Watching Things Get Stopped, and Paul Budd played in a band called Spindrift in Delaware. And they still, and the singer at a Spindrift went to California and did Spindrift live. I mean, he made Spindrift a thing. He still plays today, Spindrift, and they released albums. They make little movies, and he's been able to be able to have a career being Spindrift, the band. And Paul, whenever he comes out here, Paul plays drums on it. Yeah, so Paul Budd played on Watching Things Get Stopped, and we played it a lot, and then I just started working a lot, and we stopped doing Petland.
Yeah, that was gonna be my following question, just for like the base regular questions, was like, what's it like afterwards? What's life after the, or I guess I should start of, what was it like? I guess like the feeling of it and like the atmosphere of having a band in the late '90s and 2000s, and what's it like now, like after all this?
It was really fun in the '90s. I was super focused on music, so I recorded a lot of bands in the area. I recorded rap bands. I did a lot. Actually, I had a studio on Main Street behind the what's now the comic book store, and that up by close to the top of Main Street, where so in the '90s I actually had the studio in a warehouse for like 4 years on Main Street, in those warehouses where behind where the movie theater is, kind of behind where Capriati's is.
Yeah, over by the shopping district.
Yeah, there's a big apartment building there, but used to be warehouses, and so I rented out a warehouse and I built a studio in with a buddy of mine.
Wow.
And we recorded bands. I did rap bands, rock bands, voiceover recording there, and I had a day job, and then I'd go to there every night and work till midnight recording bands. It was fun, and so I was super into it. I felt like I really wanted to try to get Petland. When Petland started playing, I really was trying to get Petland to the next level. But I never quit my day job, so I never went all in, right? So I never went all in to try to really, really make it. And like we got requests to tour, to do like a national college tour, because we got played on college radio, but I could only do like a gig here and there. And so I didn't go all in, and I wasn't willing to be super poor for a long time, right?
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Like it's like the struggle for like every band is that you have to, either go with it a little bit or go all in. Like more
yeah. I have a buddy that went all in, and he toured Europe with his band called the Apes, and he did it for a couple years, and they were all in, and they played all over the place, and then it he didn't make it to the next level, so then he had to go get a job, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I still think it's amazing. Like I always think to like there's probably millions of bands that like started somewhere and then disappeared, as like just from history almost. But I think it's still really impressive with what Petland was able to accomplish, not just as like me finding it being cool, but everyone I've showed it to they have different tastes in music, and they all really enjoy it. Like I said, it's a very interesting. Mr. Roboto is a very interesting album. I think Antenna is even more of an interesting album because it's just Mr. Roboto. You go, I get the idea, but Antenna was just like it was just amazing. Every song had its own feel to it almost. But
Antenna is a mixture of stuff. It's a little bit all over the place, right? And
mhm.
and some of it, like the song "Alien Mating Ritual" is I did everything on that song except for the bass. Michael did the bass, but I programmed the drums for that song. I wrote the song, programmed the drums, did everything on it. I had that girl do that background voice, and I had Michael play bass on it. So that song was kind of just I think this is the last one we did. We kind of just pulled it out. Actually, Brian Erskine played a drum loop, and I chopped it up, and then I built it. So he played the drum loop, and then I recorded it, compressed the crap out of it, and then arranged it into the song. Okay. The other song I'm really happy about, and the rhythm is not the best. The drumming was not the best on Antenna. Mike Erskine he wasn't like the drumming on. If you listen to the drumming on Miss Roboto, it's a little more complicated and tighter.
Mm-hmm.
And Erskine was more like a punk rock drummer, so it was like a punk rock drumming.
Yeah,
from our stuff. And the song I'm really happy about is "Wish I Knew."
I think it's my favorite song off the album, actually.
Okay,
yeah.
I listened to it the other day. I was like, wow, man, I really like the sound of my voice on that, and then what we did. And Michael and I sang that when it picks up at the end. Michael and I sang that "Barely Know How to Fly" line, and it's like a harmony, and I really like. That whole vocal ending with Michael and I singing is awesome. That's why I really like Michael singing. The other song that I really enjoyed having Michael sing backups on is "I Blame It on My Robot," which we do that. There's a break in the middle of the song where anyway, our orbits have strayed. Our orbits have strayed, and I sing the melody. He sings a harmony, and we like push it out, and that's one of my favorite things. Also, yeah,
that's a great song too. There's a lot of harmony in these songs. Probably my favorite songs are the ones that have a lot of harmony. That's one of the reasons I really like "Watching the World Get Stopped." More specifically, not just the album, but just the title song. I think it's probably on that whole track. What's the process for that song? 'Cause I've been like. I really want to play that, like learn it so I can like play it at like gigs and stuff later on. But it seems like it's like a light song, but a really complicated song at the same time.
Yeah, that song was kind of like a build it in the computer song. So we jammed. We would get together once a week for watching things get stopped and just play and just jam. And the problem is when I write a song, when I write the lyrics first to a song, it's a lot easier. Like the songs that were done lyrics first is G.I. Joe was done lyrics first. And like I came home, I wrote G.I. Joe in like 3 minutes. I was driving and I came up with the melody. I came up with the chorus, and I had it in my head. I came in, put it on guitar, and then bam, that was the song. It was like it was that easy. But like watching Things Get Stopped, we jammed. We had like a melody. We had Rick Martel playing guitar on that, and originally, and he also played keyboards. He played the keyboards of the song, and the guitar. But then I arranged his guitar, put my guitar down. Anyway, that song was a bunch of pieces all just put together, and then at the end I redid it. I made the verse. What I did, and then I made it's a Frankenstein song. We basically I didn't have a song, and then I just chopped it up and said, okay, I'm going to stick with this. I'm not happy with the drums in that song at all. I didn't record them right, so they're kind of weak sounding. Like the verse is actually a computer drums, and then the choruses are Paul Budd playing drums, but I didn't capture them right, and the snare wasn't that solid, and blah blah blah. But I listened to that one the other day too, and I'm like, oh, it's cool. I like it. It's cool, and I like what I did, and I like the melody at the end where I'm going. I don't think Michael Boland singing on that with me. That the high pitch thing at the end is me going, ah, like that's me in there, and yeah, it's a kind of like we never played that song live. It's 100% studio.
Yeah.
Piece together. Yeah.
It's really I think the song really just resonated with me because I feel like it progresses through the song. Like it starts off kind of like having that I guess the keyboard, you're saying the keyboard kind of intro, and it feels almost like like it has like a light Christmassy melody to it almost. And I was like, it just sounds like nice, and then it kind of goes into it, and mixed with like the lyricism that you have throughout that, like the intro, it kind of feels like it builds up. Then you have like, of course, the I don't know what you call. I'm not a music major, but like that when you have the distortion part in there, and it kind of like elevates it to like this more like magnitude, then decreases it back down to like that melody again. And then I think my favorite part of the whole song is just that end, that like second half where it's the guitar going back and forth. And just reading lyrics. I think it just all comes together to be a really nice song for just.
It's meant to be at the end. It's meant to come out like orchestral at the end. You got the keyboard going dee-dee-dee-dee. That's Rick Martel playing it. So you got a keyboard doing a counter melody, and that guitar line is not. I'm not the best guitarist. I'm a pretty simple guitarist. But that's that guitar. It's less of a solo, more of like a kind of a melody thing. It's pretty. It's not that sophisticated, but it's meant to kind of like work together.
Yeah. It is all. I feel like it all comes a nice song. I think it blends well with the song after that. I forgot what the song is called.
The last song, Bed Island.
Yeah.
And I listened to that because I listened to Washington Stop though, because when I listened to the whole thing through when I did it the other day, when I released it, and Bed Island is an interesting song, and that was another kind of like. We wrote the chorus and then we figured out a verse. The verse is okay. I like it. I listened to how I produced it. The rhythm isn't strong enough. I should probably remix that song and like fix the drum to bass ratio, but I don't know if I have energy to do that. I'd rather write a new song than spend a time remixing that song. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. I was gonna ask what was like next for Petland? What if if this is like the send off, or if this is like a
no. Yeah, I mean I haven't done anything with Petland for 10 years, right? So and or more than 10 years. But I ran a business for from 2009 to 2019, and I sold it. And I was working so much, I kind of stopped doing music. I was working so hard. And so now I'm still working hard, but I don't have that pressure, and my kids are now old, so I don't need to take care of my kids. So I'm Michael and I still play together. So I'm gonna write another album. Yeah.
Oh,
I got my son. I feel bad that I haven't written anything in so long, and that's why I'm trying to remix these songs. That's why I produce Christian music for a bunch of musicians for my church, and so I've produced a bunch of stuff with them. I think they're on my YouTube channel also.
Okay.
And that's got me back into the recording. So that's gotten me back. Like I had a session just a couple weeks ago, and with drums and bassist. I need to write music, and I think. Was trying to do it in the last couple years, try to sit down and write stuff, and then nothing's really popped out. But actually lately I've actually been pretty excited about it. So I've got a couple little things down, not a huge amount. Michael has done a lot of recording. He set up a little studio in his house, Michael Poland, and he's recorded like goofy songs, like covers. That's another thing. That's why I did covers. I did a bunch of covers, right? So you saw, I did Dance Hall Days by Wang Chung.
Okay.
Did you see that on the YouTube channel?
I don't think I saw that, but I'd love to see that. Yeah.
Dude, it's awesome. It's hold on. Anna did this. My daughter did this video. why I did the remix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And then this, did you see this? Did
I haven't seen this
Red
one
Skies
yet.
at Night?
Yeah, I've only
Dude.
seen from the GI Joe one. So I didn't want to like go snooping through your YouTube page. I didn't know if like
Yeah, man. So this one, I did this only a couple months ago. 7 months ago, I did this. So this is.
like Miami Vice.
This is a cover. Oops.
Who
Sorry.
originally made that?
It's by the Fix. So it's a
Oh.
cover of the song by the of Red Skies at Night by the Fix.
Okay.
And yeah, you should listen to the original and listen to this one. And then I posted it on the Fix fan page on Facebook. And I
Yeah.
got a whole bunch of comments and a bass player who's the live bass player from the Fix. He's not the original bass player, but he commented back and told me how great it was. I was like, that made my day. I think it made my week. I was like, the bass player from the Fix likes my cover. But yeah, dude, I had this song I did 7 months ago, and it's a drummer called Ryan DeVono played drums on it. I did everything else. I played guitar and bass. I didn't get Michael to play on bass, so I should have actually. But I was just those drums are live drums recorded in my studio. They sound badass, man.
Yeah,
I'm actually. What's that?
So it sounds amazing.
Yeah, it is. I'm pretty proud of it. I had a lot of fun. The best is the bridge. I'm playing it on studio speakers. Yeah, here's the bridge. Yeah, if you never heard the song before, it's probably pretty wild.
Oh, yeah. Is that you on guitar?
Anyway, yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know how it sounds on your speakers, but
That
I was
sounded
pretty.
I'm sure it sounds a little better on the website, but that still sounded really good. I could hear all that. You recorded all that?
Yeah, man. It was fun. I can do what I got going now. I can do better than what I did back with all those other albums. That's watching the things get stopped. That's why I had to remix Go Back, because it's a great song and the original recording is not that great. I mean, here's Dance All Days. And this is John Paul Travis on drums, Michael Mullen on bass. This is another 80s pop song. To the next thing that you feel. We were so in phase in our dance hall days. We were cool on craze. When you, everyone we knew, and we do, sharing what was true. I say, dance all days long. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's a finest right on here. So like this is another cover we did of Flaming Lips.
I did see this one.
Yeah,
I watched this one too. This one's good.
Yeah. It's a great song, and Michael plays bass, John Paul Travis plays drums, and my daughter did animation. I asked you a question. She's talented. What's that?
She's really talented. I didn't know all the different styles like she put on these videos.
Yeah. So she's doing animation for me right now for luggage for like products. So yeah, but she still doesn't have a job. She's living in my house. Like, she's got to get out. She's got to get a job. But yeah, so that's my channel, right? I think here's what my channel or my uploads, my videos. And I have a Petland channel now so I could put all the stuff up. So yeah, so G.I.O. Joe, something my kid did when she was in like 9th grade. Music from church. So there's Red Skies at Night though. That's one I did this year that I'm really happy about.
I feel like you would know of anybody getting all that together and to really produce music is kind of hard.
Yeah, it's I don't know. You gotta know what you want it to sound like, and then and then you gotta have. I mean, can you play guitar?
Yeah, I can play a little bit. Yeah, I've been trying to get better. Yeah. I've gotten a lot better than I was a couple years ago, but I feel like I'm getting a bass for Christmas, so hopefully I can start merging too. But of course, you still need drums and the ability to put it all together and make it sound well.
Yeah, I mean, like for writing music, there's so much stuff out now. Like if you've got, first of all, you can auto-tune your voice. You can play like drums. You can program, right? Use lots of drum machine plugins for the recording software. I use, there's nothing beats live drums though. So and I got a pretty nice drum room and so like that Red Skies at Night, man. That drums. Yeah, produced and sound like 80s drums, so it doesn't sound that acoustic, but it's a really awesome drum track, and it's live. It's so much better because it's live, and the drummer is freaking incredible. His name's Ryan. Yeah,
maybe I'll try and then I'll do some like on some like virtual drums, and then if I try and show it to my drummer when he comes around.
Yeah. That's exactly how I did. Can I Keep You? I did it with just a drum machine, and then I laid bass down and a vocal line and with the drum machine, and then I gave it to Michael and said, "Here's the song," and then we came back and recorded with a live drummer, and yeah.
Well, really, I mean, thank you for just doing this interview and stuff with me. Like in my mind, if you were to tell me like a few months ago when I first found the album, I'd be like talking with the head, basically the idea of Petland. I think I don't know what I do. Like you were talking about how you got that message from the fix, and you were just ecstatic at it. When I found you guys on Facebook and you accept my friend request, I was like, oh my gosh, you know.
Well, you know, you get a lot of weird things on Facebook, so you know, I have kind of like, well, who is this guy? What, you know, but you said very specific things about Petland. I'm like, it's not, you know, that's not something that's not a spam thing. So yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like Petland was
insane.
was a nerdy, what is a nerdy local band that never, you know, got really out of Delaware, right? So and when we played shows, we had some really good shows, and then we had a lot of shows where there was like, you know, 10 people show up, right? So you know, yeah. So it was all over the place, right? And so to, you know, 10 years later to have some college guy, you know, dude, I got your CD. It's pretty awesome. So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it just is amazing. I think that like there's every now and then I feel like, oh, I've heard everything. You know, you always think to yourself like, oh, you know, like everyone's heard of, you know, like, oh, like we said, 90s grunge and all the 90s different kind of like REM and all the other kind of bands. You're like, oh, I've heard everything. You know, there's nothing that can really surprise me. I've heard all kind of music, and then you hear something like this, and you're like, wow, you know, it just really just makes you like, you know, there's always going to be something new defined, always some new approach to stuff. So I think it's really great.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Cool, man. You've made my day, man. You really have. Yeah.
Yeah.